The funeral procession for Iran's late Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has started in Tehran. Millions are on the streets as authorities prepare for crowds that could rival and even surpass the turnout for his predecessor nearly 4 decades ago. After lying in state for 2 days at Tehran's Grand Mosala complex, the body of Khamenei and his family members killed on the first day of the war on February 28th began their journey through the capital, accompanied by massive crowds of mourners. Monday's procession will be followed by similar events in the clerical hub of Qom on Tuesday and in Iraq's holy cities of Najaf and Kerbala on Wednesday. The events will culminate in Khamenei's burial in his hometown of Mashhad in northeastern Iran on Thursday. The funerals are a chance for Iran's authorities to project resilience after 5 weeks of war with Israel and the United States. They are also eager to tout the mass mobilization in support for the regime following the mass protests in January. Khamenei's successor, his son, Mojtaba Khamenei, has not appeared in public since taking power. However, his 3 brothers and Iran's other leaders presented a unified front at the late Supreme Leader's funeral. From civilian leaders to military commanders, all the major figures of Iranian government were present at the site. Iran's Parliament Speaker Mohammad Ghalibaf, IRGC Commander Ahmad Vahidi, Quds Force Chief Ismail Khani, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, President Masoud Pezeshkian, and Chief Justice of Iran, Gholam Hossein Mohseni, paid their final tributes to the late Supreme Leader. The leadership of Iran's so-called Axis of Resistance also paid their tributes to Ali Khamenei. These include Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. Iran also used the opportunity to show that it remains part of the global community. Countries like Russia, China, Turkey, and India have all sent delegations. Even regional rivals like Saudi Arabia attended the funeral. The support for the late Supreme Leader has stunned President Trump. Trump said he was surprised to see Iranians crying at the funeral of Ali Khamenei, admitting he believed that the people hated him. Trump further remarked, and I quote, "Maybe they were fake tears." When Israel and the United States launched the attack that killed Khamenei, they appealed to the Iranian public to rise up against the regime. No mass uprising took place during the war. But more than 4 months later, millions have taken to the streets to mourn their leader. Earlier, we had spoken to some experts on the situation in Iran, and this is what they told us.
Khamenei dying in harness, naturally, due to the cancer remission, or through the attacks on the morning of 28th February. We had in Iranian studies already prognosticated that the Third Republic, when it would usher in, would lead to a military securitized oligarchy taking the helms and the clerics being shunted into the background. So whether Khamenei went violently as he did, or would have gone naturally, this would have played itself out. The question is, the regime has honed its skills successfully over the decades in decimating its own population. So it's not new that there was no opposition, and there isn't none currently, even as these contrived choreographic Shia histrionics are being played out. Remember, it's not millions who've turned out, it's only tens of thousands in a metropolis of 16 million. Point number 1. Point number 2, the claim that it's the funeral of the century rings hollow, and it certainly won't surpass that of Khamenei, who was a larger-than-life figure when the First Republic ended and his funeral took place on the 11th of June 1989, where a sixth of the Iranian population did admittedly turn up, and that was a record of sorts.
I think one can reasonably say that Donald Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu may have saved the Iranian regime. It was only in January that we saw mass gatherings of Iranians not to praise the regime, but to protest against it because of economic conditions, because of ongoing political issues that go all the way back to the millions that came out and protested after the disputed 2009 presidential election. But what happened is that the Israelis told the Americans, who had been in talks with the Iranians all the way up to February 26th, if we attack, if we assassinate the leadership, because it was not just the supreme leader that was killed, it was dozens of Iranian officials and commanders, then the Iranian people will rise up. They will rise up and complete the job. The Israelis even proposing to arm Iranians, Iranian Kurds who are in Iraq, and send them across the border. Now, that plan, of course, has failed. The regime did not surrender. It replaced the leaders who were killed, but more importantly, it put Iranians in the position, and I say this as someone who has quite a few friends in Iran,